Salem has always been a town where secrets bubble just beneath the surface, but some secrets are heavier, darker, and far more heartbreaking than others. Days of Our Lives spoilers reveal that Javi Hernandez is about to confront one of the most painful chapters of his past, the loss of his baby girl. For weeks, viewers have sensed that Javi was hiding something. His tenderness with little Tesoro, his hesitation about adoption, and his haunted glances at his phone all hinted at a deeper wound. Now, the truth is beginning to emerge. But what exactly happened to Javi's child? Is he responsible for her tragic death, or is this another case of guilt twisting the past into something unbearable? Let's break it down. In Salem, dreams often come with shadows, and Javi Hernandez knows that better than most. On the September 2nd episode, he finally voiced what had been tugging at his heart: the idea of adopting Tesoro. For Javi, this wasn't a fleeting whim or a sudden impulse. It was a vision of a future filled with love, laughter, and stability. Tesoro had become more than just a child he was caring for. He was a symbol of healing, a chance to reclaim the fatherhood Javi once lost. The way Javi held the little boy, the way he softened whenever Tesoro smiled, showed that this wasn't simply about charity or duty. It was about belonging. But reality, as always, is harsh in Salem. Melinda Trask listened carefully before reminding Javi of the obstacles. Leo's colorful past, his con games, his arrests, his notorious reputation, casts a long shadow. Without legal partnership, their bond doesn't carry weight in the eyes of the law. Melinda suggested Javi pursue adoption as a single father, but her words carried a warning: any adoption requires scrutiny. A background check would comb through his history, unearthing everything, including tragedies he had buried deep in his heart. At that moment, the dream cracked. Javi's expression changed from hope to dread. It wasn't just about bureaucracy or paperwork anymore. It was about reopening a wound that had never healed, the loss of his baby girl. There are moments in soap opera history where a single line can break an entire story open. For Javi Hernandez, it came when he lowered his eyes, swallowed hard, and confessed to Melinda. He once had a child, and she died. The words weren't delivered with drama. They slipped out like a wound reopening, raw and reluctant. His voice cracked under the weight of memory, and though he offered no details, the tremor in his tone revealed everything: grief, guilt, and fear all colliding in one unbearable truth. Melinda, sharp and calculating as always, wasted no time cutting to the heart of the matter. If Javi pursued adoption, she explained, the death of his child would not remain in the shadows. Investigators would demand answers, documents, perhaps even testimony. Was it an illness? An accident? Was there negligence involved? Every corner of his past would be examined. And in that moment, the fear in Javi's eyes told viewers everything: he wasn't ready. The confession wasn't just painful, it was terrifying. To Javi, this wasn't about facing his grief privately. This was about the possibility of being judged, condemned, and denied the chance at building a new family. For a man who longs to nurture and protect, the thought that his tragic past could be weaponized against him was unbearable. In a burst of emotion, Javi gathered Tesoro in his arms and fled. He couldn't bear Melinda's gaze, the questions, or even the possibility of reliving that day. For viewers, it was haunting. Why does this tragedy strike him with such paralyzing fear? What happened that left him unable to even whisper the details? Sometimes, grief doesn't live in words, it hides in objects. For Javi, it lives in a single photo stored on his phone. A snapshot of himself holding a baby girl, his smile wide, his eyes shining with pride. It's a picture of a man who once had everything, before fate tore it away. Viewers have seen him glance at it in quiet moments, his thumb brushing the screen as though he could reach back in time. This isn't mere nostalgia. This is the tether that binds him to the child he lost. Then came the moment with Ariana Horton. In a scene both tender and heartbreaking, she told Javi that he would have been a wonderful father. For a second, it seemed like affirmation. But Javi's response shattered that illusion. Instead of gratitude, he silenced her quickly, almost desperately, begging her not to share that thought with Leo. Why? Because the mere idea of explaining this part of his life to the man he loves is unbearable. His silence is not just about pain, it's about shame, about fear, about carrying a secret so heavy he can barely breathe under its weight. The circumstances of that child's life and death remain unclear. Was he a sperm donor? Did he co-parent with a friend? Was there an unconventional arrangement that ended in tragedy? Whatever the truth, the result is devastating. Javi fathered a daughter who is no longer alive. And though the world may see it as a secret, to Javi it is an open wound, one that bleeds every time he dares to hope for another chance at fatherhood. So what really happened to Javi's baby girl? That's the haunting question that has fans buzzing, because Days of Our Lives rarely teases a tragedy this raw without delivering a story that cuts deep. On the surface, the possibilities seem endless. Was it a sudden illness, a rare condition that no one could have predicted? Or was it a freak accident, the kind of split-second misfortune that leaves scars for a lifetime? Javi's body language suggests something more than grief. He carries guilt, the kind of guilt born from, if only, moments. Perhaps he turned his head for a second, answered a phone call, or stepped out of the room, only to return and find disaster waiting. But Salem fans know Javi. He's never been reckless or cruel. He's a man who has shown tenderness, loyalty, and heart. That makes it hard to believe he's hiding some dark, criminal secret. Instead, the likeliest explanation is a heartbreaking accident, a twist of fate that ripped his daughter from his arms. And yet, here's where things become complicated. In the world of adoption, perception often matters more than reality. Even if Javi did nothing wrong, even if the tragedy was pure misfortune, an investigation would look at every detail. Any hint of negligence, any shadow of doubt, could be enough to destroy his chances of adopting Tesoro. That is why Javi trembles at the very idea of a background check. It isn't just paperwork, it's the reopening of a wound, the judgment of strangers, the fear that his worst moment could define him forever. And in Salem, nothing stays buried. Every past mistake, every painful secret, eventually claws its way back into the light. For Javi, the past isn't just memory. It's a ticking time bomb waiting to detonate. Beyond the adoption process, Javi faces another storm, his relationship with Leo. In Salem, secrets are currency, and Javi's secret is one of the most devastating a man can carry. The question isn't whether it will come out, it's how and when. Leo, for all his schemes and his dramatic flair, has revealed a surprisingly tender side with Tesoro. His playful moments, his gentle care, his loyalty, these show that Leo has grown. He's ready, in his own unconventional way, for the role of parent. Which makes Javi's silence all the more dangerous. Imagine the heartbreak when Leo learns that the man he loves has been hiding this pain. If Javi chooses to confess, it could become a moment of truth that binds them closer than ever. Leo, who has so often been judged, might offer compassion rather than condemnation. He could see Javi's vulnerability not as weakness but as proof of his depth, his humanity. In that scenario, the tragedy could forge an unbreakable bond. But what if Javi waits too long? In Salem, secrets never stay hidden. Gossip spreads like wildfire, investigators dig, and one careless slip can unravel everything. If Leo hears it secondhand, if he feels betrayed rather than trusted, the fallout could be catastrophic. Their fragile relationship, built on new trust, could shatter. And with it, Javi's chance to build a family with Tesoro could vanish. This is the crossroads Javi stands at: confession or silence, honesty or fear. And the longer he hesitates, the more inevitable the explosion becomes. Because in Salem, when secrets erupt, they don't just cause pain, they reshape lives. Javi Hernandez's journey has transformed before our eyes. What began as a hopeful dream of adoption has now spiraled into a haunting exploration of love, loss, and the unbearable weight of secrets. The death of his baby girl isn't just a backstory. It is the wound that defines him, the shadow that follows him into every decision. And now, with Tessero's future at stake, that shadow grows darker. But here's the real question: is Javi truly to blame? Did his actions, or inactions, cost his daughter her life? Or is he simply another victim of life's cruel hand, a man crushed beneath the weight of fate and guilt? Fans are desperate for answers, and Salem is the one place where answers never come easily. Will Javi's past doom his chances of becoming Tessero's father? Or could the truth, once spoken, heal old wounds and bring him closer to Leo than ever before? One thing is certain: in Salem, the past never stays buried. And as this painful chapter resurfaces, it won't just test Javi, it will shake the foundations of every relationship around him. His tragedy is no longer his alone. It is about to become Salem's newest storm.